Hello friends, in this video I am going to show you an illustrative program demonstrating the implementation of a constructor in object-oriented programming with C++. So basically I am just going to show you the implementation of a constructor in a C++ program which I have written for you to make you understand about the basics of the concept of constructors. So let's get started with the explanation of the program line by line in order to make you understand the basics of constructors. We have opened the code blocks, and inside this workspace, current workspace, I will open one program for you uh, to show you how the constructors are implemented in C++. So let's open the program. Suppose I will open the program constructor1.cbp. It gets opened in front of you, and let me just give you the explanation of this program line by line. Now this is a file inclusion directive using namespace std. Then I have created a class. I have defined a class, that is class count. I have written this, I've given the name of count. You can give any other name of your choice. Class count is the class, and under that, in the private section, I have declared one variable which is of the integer data type, and that is CNT. And after that, in the public section, under the public visibility modifier or access specifier, I have defined three functions inside the class body itself, because the functions are very small in terms of lines of code, and that's why I have not defined the functions outside the class. I have just defined it inside the class body. So the first function is count, which is strikingly having the same name as the class name and having no return type associated with it, as you can see from here. So definitely this should be the constructor, because constructor has the same name as the class name and has no return types. And so this is the constructor function. After that, another member function increment has been defined, void increment, under which there is one expression statement cnt++, by which we can increment the value cnt by unity. And after that, I have defined yet another function, that is int get underscore cnt, which has only one single expression statement in return cnt, which will nothing but return the value of the data member cnt, and that's why the return type of this function can be easily understood to be of integer data type. So int is the return type, function name is get underscore cnt, and the only expression, the solitary expression statement, is return cnt. After that, the class ends with this closing brace and this semicolon. And the constructor, let's just concentrate on the constructor because we are dealing with constructor in this example. So this constructor is a constructor which has no arguments. So it is a no argument constructor having a body. Inside the body there is an expression statement in cnt is equal to 0, which can be seen to initialize the data member cnt to the value 0. You can give any other value of your choice other than 0. You can give 1, you can give 2, you can give 100, or any other value of your suite as your suite will. And this constructor will then helps the cnt variable to. And now just concentrate on this constructor count, because our topic of discussion in this video is the constructor. So this constructor helps us to see that this constructor has the role to initialize the data member cnt to the value of 0, as has been given in this case, but you can just give any other values other than 0 to this cnt variable. But in this example, I've used the value of 0 to initialize cnt. So this is the only only expression statement in this constructor count. So after that, we come to the main section and see what I have written there. I have instantiated the class count by means of two objects or instances, that is one is C1 and another is C2. So count C1 and C2. As soon as this count C1 and C2 are created, the constructor will be automatically invoked, and for C1 the value of CNT will become 0, and for C2 the value of CNT will be also initialized to 0. So the objects are initialized by this constructor. And after that, what I have written, let me see, cout, I have just printed what is in the value, what is in the variable, what value is in the variable CNT by means of calling the function get underscore CNT by each of the objects C1 and C2. For C1 dot get underscore CNT, we will just see that the CNT, the value of the CNT for C1 object will be output by this expression statement. Similarly, the value of CNT for the object C2 will be output by this second cout statement in this line. So after that, I have called the increment function for C1 once, that is C1 dot increment. After that, I have called the increment function for C2 one by one, thrice. So after that, yet again I have used these two lines to get the value of CNT from C1 object and as well as from C2 object by this last cout statement of this main block. So let us analyze the output. What should be the output in this case? What is the desired output or the expected output of this program? See, suppose when this C1 and C2 objects are created, as soon as this C1 and C2 are created, the constructor count is invoked and the CNT variable of C1 becomes 0, and the CNT variable for C2 object will also become 0 by the invocation of this constructor. So after that, if we just go on to call this function C1.getCount, we go to this function and see that return CNT, that is whatever is the value of CNT for C1 will be returned in a way so as to give it as an output to the console. So C1.get underscore CNT should give the value of 0 because C1 has a CNT value of 0 now, and C2.get CNT get underscore CNT will also give us the value of 0 for CNT for C2 object. So as far as these two lines are concerned, we think we can expect that this will be printed as C1 is equal to 0 and C2 is equal to 0. After that, I have called the increment function once for C1.increment. So this C1.increment invokes this function. CNT inside C1 will be incremented by unity and it will become 1 from 0, and after that C2.increment again increments the CNT variable in C2 from 0 to 1. After that, yet again I have done the same thing in the third increment function call, that is C2.increment. Again, the CNT variable of C2 object will be incremented by unity, that is from 1 to 2. After that, I have again called increment with the help of this C2 object, and CNT will be incremented by unity once again to become 3 from the last value of CNT in C2, that is 2. And after that, I have printed the C1 get underscore CNT will definitely print the current value or the updated value of CNT for C1 object, and this C2 get underscore CNT will obviously print the value of the variable CNT in the C2 object. So we can expect the output to be like this. For these two lines, the output will be C1 is equal to 0, C2 is equal to 0, and for this line we will definitely get the value to be C1 is equal to 1, and for this 1, 2, 3, that is for C2 is equal to for this C out C2 is equal to C dot get count, we will get an output of C2 is equal to 1, 2, 3. So 3 times this increment function is being called with the help of this C2 object. So basically for the first time it becomes 1, the variable CNT becomes 1 from 0, then the variable CNT becomes 2 from 1, and then the variable CNT becomes 3 from 2. So we will expect this line to give an output of C2 is equal to 3. So let's see what is written after that. I think that is all, and we'll just go on to build and run and see and compare the output to the expected output. So let's go to build and run, click it, and we see the output window being opened in front of us. So let me just drag it aside in order to show you clearly what is being expected and what is being observed. And see this, C1 is equal to 0, C2 is equal to 0 as we have expected. C1 is equal to 1 and C2 is equal to 3. That is also what we have expected. So the expected results tally with the results which can be observed from this output. So the program is quite correct, and it has run correctly and without any errors and warnings. And I hope this is a very simple program in order to which helps us to get familiar with the concept of the constructors in C++ programming. And still, if you have any doubts and queries pertaining to this entire example, you can well post your doubts and queries into the comment section below so that I can address them. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to DigiGuide. Thanks again.